One of basketball's iconic moments, and it came in a playoff series between the two teams you're about to see who have a rich postseason history. Sixers and Celtics, called by Brian Anderson, Kevin McHale, and Roz Gold on Woody about 15 minutes from now. Here in Atlanta, Studio J, it's TNT NBA Tip-Off, presented by Auto Trader. Ernie Johnson, Charles Barkley, Kenny Smith, and Shaquille O'Neal. So what makes this so historic, this series? Well, they played 100 games. That's the most between any two teams in NBA history. 54-46 is the Celtic lead, including winning 12 of the 20 of the 19 series. This is their 20th series meeting, first since 2012.
That's amazing.
In the series that we're all about to play in and compete in, you know, there's a lot that's gone on long before us that is worth knowing about. And I enjoy educating our young players about that history.
Today before shoot around, we watched a video about kind of like the rivalry. Dr. J had a message. I mean, he was just kind of explaining the rivalry and how intense it was. And then these are the type of moments I live for, so I'm excited.
Now, granted, that Bird and Dr. J was a regular season tussle that they had, but in the postseason, Charles, you know what this is all about. You were in a series in your rookie year for the Eastern Conference Final, but I know you had to have been told going in how important it is when Philly plays Boston.
The word you need to think of, Ernie, is hatred. These guys, they actually hated each other. And it was really weird because I got to know Kevin McHale and Larry Bird later, and they were great guys. But from the time we started playing in the regular season and then in the playoffs, they actually hated the Celtics. And it obviously goes back a long way, but Wilt, Bill Russell, those guys.
But so y'all didn't go on vacations in the summer with the Celtics?
Do we not know? How about this here? How about this, Kenny? We played the Celtics in an exhibition game, and I'm a rookie. And we actually played in Las Vegas. And I bumped into McHale and Bird in the casino and just hello. They got mad at me. They're like, no, young fella, we're not like that. It's just hatred, Ernie, plain and simple.
We're not like that. Girl, Kenny, what do you see?
I like that. I like that.
What do we see now in 2018 in this Eastern Conference semifinal as the Celtics have had 5 nights. The Sixers have had 5 nights off. The Celtics just completing a Game 7 win over Milwaukee. How do you gauge the series? And by the way, Jaylen Brown will not play tonight for the Celtics.
That's big.
You know, that's the news of the day. And that's going to change the whole way I'm about to talk. But overall, if you think about, you know, on the day one, Hayward was going to possibly be their leading scorer. He goes down. Kyrie Irving becomes your leading scorer. He goes down before the playoffs. And then Jaylen Brown, who has been your leading scorer in the playoffs, goes down. How can you keep doing it? That's what everyone said. How can you keep winning? But and you say, well, someone else has to. Al Horford has to take more shots, or Rozier has to score more. I don't really think so. I think they have a system and a systematic unit that whoever's plugged in gets the same amount of shots as the guy that was plugged in for. That's the most unique thing I've ever seen. So when Jaylen Brown goes in, he gets the same amount of shots as Hayward. When Rozier goes in, he now gets the shots that Kyrie Irving was getting.
There's Marcus Smart, who will start tonight.
Will get the shots that Jaylen Brown at times will get. It's just going to have to. They have to go in. If they have a system that doesn't change once guys change.
If you're the Celtics, what are you thinking defensively first, Embiid or Simmons?
I would say you have to say with Simmons, you have to say, we're not going to let him penetrate, because when he penetrates, he's sort of like LeBron. He likes to get people involved. And we just have to, clog the lane. And Embiid is a handful. He's probably going to get his numbers, but you can't let both those guys get off. And if I was a guard playing, I would probably back up 2 steps and, force him to shoot that jumper. He's averaging 17, 18 points with no jumper. All his points are always in the paint. So, they're going to have to do a great job of collectively playing good defense and keeping this kid out of the middle of the paint.
It's interesting when I was scouting at the Utah game yesterday, because I said before the series, I said, man, they got some guys, Tucker and Ariza, that can match up with Donovan Mitchell, because they're big enough, they're strong enough, they got length. Well, the Boston Celtics has that guy, Marcus Smart. This is going to be a tough series for Ben Simmons, because Smart he is athletic enough, but you got to be strong because Ben is big. You know, I told you the first time I met him, I kept saying to myself, I sure hope he gets smaller as he get closer. And he was a legit 6'10". But Smart is one of the better defensive players in the league, but he's got a great body. He can put it on him if the officials let him play. But, man, I take my hat off to the Celtics. With all the injuries, Haywood, Kyrie, Smart being out a lot of first.
Oh, yeah.
And now Jaylen Brown. I just don't know if they're going to have enough bodies to beat the Sixers. I don't think they will.
Here's the G League still available. Players from the G League.
So now what do you do about Embiid?
Well, Embiid, you know.
Yeah, no worries.
Well, they got to make a decision.
There is a one or the other. There is no both because it's impossible to do both. And the one would have to be Simmons. You'd have to play as much single coverage as you can on Embiid at times because if you go double, Simmons slices to the rim, and he's 6'10", as Charles said. And then that advantage that Smart has of guarding on the perimeter is over. So collectively, you just have to say, Ben Simmons, we have to make him a shooter from free throw line out, and you cannot let him get into the lane to score, and you coming in there when he does. Other than that, Embiid is an impossible cover.
Well, Embiid's going to show me how smart of a player he is this series because the Celtics going to have to make a decision whether to play Baines or Horford. He can take – one time, Embiid hurts himself at times because he stands out on the three-point line. To me, if they put Al Horford on him, take him down on the box and just punish him. And then you can use your speed and ability if you got Baines. But that, to me, is going to be the most interesting matchup, who the Celtics put out there, whether it's Horford or Baines.
You see Horford trying to take Embiid outside and get him away from the rim, stop the rim protection that Embiid is capable of?
Definitely, he's a pick and pop guy, but I, agree with Chuck. And if you look at Embiid's average, you have to keep him around that average. You can't let him go down and bang, 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 and put up 20s and get a couple 30s. But Horford's a smart player. He's probably going to use some tactics. Pump fake him, try to get him in foul trouble. Try to get him out the game. But he's definitely going to take him out to get him away from the basket.
But you see, he's 1 for 12 from three. Why are you shooting threes if you got Al Horford guarding you? I mean, you got a size advantage. You got to punish him down low because Al Horford, as I said, he's the guy he's the head of the snake.
The Bucks gave Celtics trouble when they got out and ran in the open floor. Philadelphia likes to do that same thing. How do you control that if you're Boston?
Well, I think just when they got in the open floor, they had similar to what Giannis can do is what Ben Simmons does. Ben Simmons and Giannis are very similar when they get it off the rebound. And in the open floor or in steals, the open floor, they're so big with handling the basketball that the guy that's typically guarding them can't stay in front of them. But I don't know if they have the, I know Redick is a great shooter, but I don't know if he's as a great a shooter as Middleton is in transition. He's in the half court, he is, but not as in transition. Trying to find Middleton is a tough cover. But I think that actually the Celtics with Jaylen Brown match up decent against Philadelphia. That's a pretty good matchup for them. I think round one was tougher for them, would be tougher than this round if they had everybody in terms of at least style of play. Winning this series, I still would say Philadelphia has the advantage, but it'll be easier to get certain things done for Boston.
And Ernie, on the offensive end, whoever Ben Simmons is guarding, let's just say, for example, he's guarding Rozier. Rozier also has to make him play defense. You can't let a guy like Ben Simmons rest on defense and just play offense. So, the same thing Rozier was doing to Bledsoe, he has to try to do the same thing to Ben Simmons or whoever's guarding him.
Question for the panel. Who is Philadelphia's leading scorer in the postseason?
J.J. Redick.
Yep, I'll go with J.J. Redick.
I would go with Redick as well, but we're all wrong. Right?
No, you're all correct.
Okay.
Very impressive.
Okay.
And Philadelphia has won 9 straight on the road as they go into Boston for Game 1. Sixers and
You can't stop us, Ernie.
Coming up.